Hi, this is Martice Brumfield with Martice Brumfield Real Estate, and I brought my girl back, Cristina Briseno from Mark One Mortgage. She is actually going to be one of our presenters and speakers for our home buyers seminar that's taking place on Thursday, September 27th from 6:30 to 8:30. So welcome back, Cristina.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excited to be here again.
Thank you, thank you. So we are actually going to talk to you about conditions, loan approval, things like that. And so what I'd like to do is have her go ahead and share with you what exactly it means to have pre-approval or a loan approved. So Cristina, take it away.
Okay, so basically when I have taken the full loan application, qualified the client, and we are in escrow, we go ahead and submit the loan to the underwriter, and we have a conditional loan approval. So it's a full approval, but with conditions from the underwriter, which could be different things depending on the type of loan that that they've underwritten. So one of the conditions can be an appraisal. An appraisal condition. We want to make sure the value has come in. If there are any repairs that need to be done on the property, which we let everyone know immediately. If we have an issue with the value, of course, we need to let the listing agents know right away so that we can figure out how to move forward.
Okay, all right. So it's more than just, submitting your documents and then actually just getting a pre-approval status. Because pre-approval means, you've been pre-approved based on you showing and illustrating your ability to be credit worthy.
Right, right.
Okay.
So once we do the pre-qualification in the beginning, so we can figure out exactly what the client qualifies for, what monthly payment they're comfortable with, because we don't want to go show them a property, $500,000-$600,000 when they want a $2,500 payment.
Right,
so
absolutely.
That's the pre-qualification we get out of the way. Once they find a property, they're in escrow, we submit the loan. Then there's a conditional loan approval that we have to meet before we can move forward.
That makes sense. So you mentioned home repairs. What other types of loan conditions have you seen in your experience of handling loans in general?
Yeah, so sometimes it could be, and again, just depending, it's a case by case. Every loan will always be different, no matter what. So, if it's an FHA loan, we have to make sure that the property, whether FHA or conventional, we have to have the smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors. FHA wants you to have the water heater strap. If there's broken windows that the appraiser calls out, they have to be repaired. FHA, if there's chipped eaves, like if there's chipped wood around the eaves, and that has to, or paint, chip paint around the eaves, that has to be repaired. So things like that. We've also seen, if there's a termite being done on the property, there will be section 1 and 2 depending on the lender. Section 2 will have to be done. So any repairs on the appraisal or any items on the termite report, if one is being done, then that work also has to be done. And
you know what? As agents, we've seen quite a bit of issue with termite. Can you speak on that? For our viewers here, termite, and what that means as far as conditions are concerned, because we know that when an offer is submitted for a property and we are requesting termite work or termite report, what exactly does that mean? Because as you guys may or may not be aware, but their termite is no longer a requirement to purchase a home and to have that as part of the agreement. So that's now something that is added and negotiated between the seller as well as the buyer.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. So if it's agreed upon, the seller and the buyer, that the seller will pay for the termite work, however that report comes back, whatever repairs are there, they have to be done. And like I mentioned, there is section 1. Some lenders will require, if there is section 2, but the buyer didn't agree, or the seller didn't agree to doing section 2 work, but the lender that we're submitting to might require for that section 2. So we just have to be careful in the beginning. It's case by case with the lender. Some lenders don't require section 2 to be done. Most of them will require section 2 to be done. So we just have to be careful when we submit, just to know what the repairs are, section 1 and 2, and have everybody in agreement that section 1 and 2 will be done. So basically, any repairs that are on that termite report, they have to be done prior to the close of escrow. The seller, the buyer does have the option, the seller and the buyer have the option to waive that termite completely. So we will need a termite waiver signed by all parties, waiving that termite report.
All right, and also let's speak really quickly on the appraisal condition, because that's a really big issue. You know, you have maybe a homeowner who's listed their home for a certain sales price and they wanted to get their number, but then you have an offer or a purchase agreement, you know, that's been submitted for a certain, you know, price. Share with our viewers specifically where the appraisal comes in and how that actually works with the lender. So then that way it's understood with the buyers that the bank is not going to allow them to pay more than what the house is worth.
Right. So if, you know, let's just throw a number out there, maybe a $600,000 sales price and the value comes in at $550, then everything comes to a standstill until we can figure out, you know, then we go back to the seller and say, Mr. Seller, your value only came in at $550. What would you like to do? Sometimes, you know, the seller or listing agent wants to do a rebuttal. So a rebuttal is where the seller comes in or listing agent comes in and says, well, here are some comparables to show your appraiser that the value is there. So we can go back and, you know, we go to bat for our clients always.
Absolutely.
And we will submit the rebuttal, and it's up to the appraiser at the end of the day. You know, it's if they agree with it or not. Sometimes I've had cases where the listing agent knows his farm area and he knows that value is there and he fights for it. And as a team, we always come together as a team. You give me those comparables, I'll go fight for you. And, you know, we've been successful, but sometimes, you know, the value's not there, it's not there. So we either have to negotiate with the seller, you got to bring the price lower, or we've had where the buyer's willing to meet the seller halfway and maybe come up with a little bit of money just to agree on a sales price.
Yes. And usually that's actually handled prior to submitting the offer. Because as an agent, or specifically as a buyer's agent, you want to make sure you're doing your due diligence by making sure you've actually completed your comps on behalf of your buyer. So then that way, you know, you don't run into this issue when it comes to appraisal and making sure that that's not necessarily an issue, you know, condition, you know. Okay.
So you as a buyer's agent, you just double check the comps to make sure, because if it's off right away, you know, you can go to the seller or listing agent and let them know, hey, how'd you come up with this value?
Exactly.
So we know that there's going to be an issue.
Okay.
So,
and then also let's speak on, I know you mentioned and shared there are some conditions when it comes to repairs and things like that, but what are some of the other conditions that may come up during the process of getting your loan approved or getting fully underwritten?
So, and again, depending on the loan, we keep saying that, but everything's different. So it could be an additional paycheck stub, you know, it could be an explanation letter in regards to overtime, or, you know, the salary's a lot lower year to date, so just explanations on that. It could be credit, you know, if you have bad credit, they want an explanation as to what happened with a previous bankruptcy or a previous foreclosure. So nothing too crazy or complicated, but just basic information that we help the buyers with. You know, just let us know what the story is behind it, and we write the explanation letters for them. But anything else, you know, it could be an additional bank statement or something they saw on the bank statement that they might question. Deposits, anything over $500, they want to know, where did this deposit come from? You know, they
want a legitimate answer. So that way none of the funds are fraud.
Exactly. So.
All right, that makes total sense. And so lastly, how long does it take to have these conditions met? You know, now that we've gotten them approved, you know, and these conditions, you know, have been met, how long does it take to have them met?
Okay, so let's just say, you know, it took 24 to 48 hours to get loan approval. Once we get the loan approval, we notify everyone. You know, and it's all a team. It's us working together with the appraiser, the title company, escrow, listing agent, selling agent, and ourselves as the lenders. So let's just say it takes maybe 2 to 3 days to gather up all the conditions from everybody in the team. We get cleared, and then we get ready to move forward for final loan documents.
Okay, so it really doesn't take that long.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, that sounds
it's just a
good.
couple of days. You know, depending on the conditions, because sometimes we've come across where it's a city condition or this condition. But
okay.
we'll walk everybody through it and make sure that, you know.
Yeah, because sometimes too, it makes the buyers a little bit anxious, if you will, you know, when they realize that they have a condition and they don't know what that is.
Exactly.
So this is our way of sharing with you a little behind the scenes of what takes place on our end. So then that way you, as a prospective homeowner, kind of know what's involved in the process. It's more than just gathering your docs, but it's you gathering your docs, but us working on your behalf to make sure that we're presenting you in the best light so you can go ahead and get your loan totally approved and underwritten. So again, thank you, Cristina, for coming out.
Thank you so much.
Look forward to seeing her on Thursday, September 27th at our home buyer seminar. If you haven't registered yet, please do so. We have a few spaces available. You guys have been awesome with signing up. So again, thank you so much for those of you who've already signed up. We look forward to seeing you soon. And until next time, take care. Bye-bye.
All right, see you. Thank you.